Oh, well, hey guys, welcome to a slightly different episode today. I thought because I've been playing Scum recently and because I played DayZ many times, there are some videos on my channel. If you go back to the beginning, back in March, April, when I began this channel, DayZ is upon the YouTubes for Coffee Barbarian because I freaking love DayZ. And because I've been playing them both recently, I played DayZ in my personal time more than recording for you guys. This that you see on the screen now is my most recent spawn in on DayZ on a public server, and we'll see how that went. I thought, what better time in my YouTube career my YouTube journey than now to talk about Scum and DayZ. And can they be compared? Definitely yes, they're very similar games, but there are so many differences. And I should just say, these are just my opinions, and I would love to hear your opinions if you've played either one of these games. And no matter whether you've played DayZ or played Scum, you are more than welcome here. If you've played neither of them, you're more than welcome here if you've played both. Welcome, all welcomes. All of you are trays welcome. So come on in and join in the discussion about Scum and DayZ. So the first thing is spawning in. Like, it's so similar apart from the parachute jump in Scum. You basically spawn in on the map and you have very limited supplies, and the whole point is figuring out where you are going to get the supplies, you know, looting for your stuff and all things. I mean, you need food, you need clothes, you need weapons, and you also need to be able to fight off the various enemies. So the first major difference, obviously, is the map situation. So in Scum, they provide you with a in-game map, and they also tell you whereabouts you are on that map. They also tell you safe zones, like trader zones in the little green areas there, which is pretty damn useful. DayZ, not so much. So on the Chernarus and Livonia DLC maps, I think the only way you can find a map in game is to go to like camping areas and find an actual little map for your character to pick up and hold out in front of them. There are also like boards at these campsites with a map on them that says you are here and will tell you roughly where you are if you haven't learned the map. So DayZ teaches you very quickly orienteering skills. Some bright sparks, though, have created the DayZ I Survive map app, which is freaking useful, especially if you're on a server, someone else's server, or you're on a server with multiple people that you'd like to figure out where you all think you might be. There's also something in the game, I think, where you can ping your location as long as it's linked to your map app, possibly. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that. I haven't actually used it myself. But the thing I learned on DayZ very quickly was to quickly learn the map and learn where I am and learn viewpoints, waypoints, and that church or whatever. When I was using the I Survive map app, I would reduce it down to all the water points if I'd found a water point, etc, etc. So it taught me really quickly, like, the need to figure out where the hell I'm at. The other main similarity when you first spawn in and continuing on throughout your playthrough are the enemies. So obviously if you're on a public server of either one, your enemies are going to be other people. But the main enemy on a player versus environment will be obviously the zombies. Now on Scum servers, they do refer to them as zombies, not puppets, but generally they are called puppets. On DayZ, they're just called zombies. And depending on what server you're on, obviously public servers are a kind of set amount. But if you're on a private server, I mean, I was on a private server on my Xbox console, and they had upped the zombie count because the environment was so much more friendly and easy to play on and survive on. So they upped the zombie count, which is great when you've got guns and things. But when you first spawn in, man, you had to work hard for it. And I feel like in both games, the fight mechanic is very similar. I mean, it's not a smooth ride game fighting wise. I'd say maybe it feels a bit smoother on Scum than it does on DayZ, but that just might be my skill set. The other thing I really should have mentioned right at the beginning was that when you create your characters, the Scum personalization, hard word to say, is much more in depth, and obviously because of the way Scum survival mechanics work, you have to be a bit more, I don't know, thinkertons. You have to put your big brain cap on and figure out what you want to be in Scum, and you don't know when you first start. You have no real context. With DayZ, the only personalization you get is kind of vaguely what you look like, and it's very simplistic. You get like whether you want to be male or female and whether you want to have different coloured clothes on or not, but you don't get to choose those clothes. With Scum, you don't get to choose your clothes, no, but you do get to choose a bit more to do with like your character's face, the hair, the colour. It's just a bit more in-depth. And once you're done with all that, you can finally log into the servers, which we kind of already have, but I'm jumping all over the place, man. And since I mentioned servers, let's talk servers a moment, shall we? On DayZ, there are more limited options, I will say, than Scum. So for DayZ, you get the option of playing on a public server or a private server. And those private servers, you either need access to someone else's private server or you need to purchase your own or rent your own, essentially. On Scum, however, you get the option, before you even have to think about purchasing or renting a server, you can play multiplayer, which I assume is public servers, or single player, which is you on your own server. However, you don't get to mod that server. You don't have any admin perks, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then you have the third option there of renting your own server or joining someone else's rented server and having funsies over there. So I definitely feel on Scum you got that extra option of a single player server, which is really good because when you first start playing Scum and DayZ, it's really difficult because they don't hold your hand in either games. Like, they assume some knowledge and some ability and willingness to learn. And that's really difficult on DayZ when you're on a public server because you're learning how to survive, but also potentially fighting off more experienced players. But on Scum, you get the option to play on a single server, so you can just learn how to survive first and then take on other players if you so wish to. Ooh, let's talk inventory for a moment. As you can see, this is DayZ's inventory on the screen, and it's kind of simplified. I'm used to now looking at the Scum inventory, which is far more complex. This one, I've got a raincoat on and it's got 20 slots, but I also have to sort of Tetris the items in there as well and make sure they can fit into those square slots. On console, I think you just have the numbers to fill in, not the actual shape and the squareage and the Tetris of it. And I don't know if there's a weight limit. I'm not sure if that bar across the bottom left above the running man is your kind of weight and how much you're carrying, and basically how out of puff you get how quickly when you're running with all that loot. And I am a loot goblin, so I do tend to carry more than I need, and they will tell you that when you first start playing DayZ. Only carry what you need. Don't carry extra stuff. You can find the extra stuff eventually. And you can add on, like, you can see the assault boots have a little slot for a knife that you could put in there. You can end up putting like belts on and hanging things from your belts. And when you get the military gear, you can just add stuff onto the military gear. And before you know it, you are carrying around a lot of stuff that you probably don't need, but it's all good. And moving on to Scum now, the inventory system is kind of similar, it's just there's more of it, and there are specific weight limits to each item, so your bag can only carry X amount of kilograms before you can't carry any more things in there, even though you might have the slots available. It might just be too heavy. And you've got more quick access. Obviously there's about 8 there, I think, on the right there, but on DayZ, I mean, you do get more slots depending on what kind of you're wearing. I think military gear will give you more quick access slots along the bottom of the screen that we saw. And where you put your clothes on looks slightly different here. It's that column right there, and you can just drop and drag things on, and you can layer up here. I don't know if there's a limit to it. I haven't tested it out yet, but in DayZ, those layers are very limited. Like, I don't know if you can layer up. I think the only thing you can layer up is like a balaclava and a helmet on top kind of vibe. But as for wearing a coat over a t-shirt, I don't think you can do that in DayZ. Whereas you can in Scum. You can just keep layering up, especially when you go up into the cold, snowy climbs, which I absolutely love doing, by the way. And let's move on to base building. So in DayZ, I've never built in kind of admin mode. I've never just inserted stuff into my own server myself. I wasn't really sure how to. So everything I've ever built in DayZ has been the long hard way. Excuse me. But as you can see here, I was installing a fence kit. I had to build the fence kit, install the fence kit, then add components to the fence kit like logs, then planks. I needed tools to do that, and I'm pretty sure it's the same on Scum. With Scum though, you get a blueprint and you just put that up and then have to fulfill it. With DayZ, no such thing. You just have to figure it out. And there's always an extra thing to do, and it took me so long just to make this fence panel, which I then converted into a gate. And the blue line you see there, this is Scum now. You do have a similar flag system in both games, as I mentioned previously. And as you can see in Scum, in God mode, this is admin mode, I was able to put a base up real damn quick. And as you can see on the screen there, there's blueprints, and you just like click on it, put it in. It feels a lot easier, I have to say. Obviously not so if you have to go and get all the components manually, but as you can see, I built a pretty good sized base. I just wanted to see how large I could go before I actually started building buildings, which I haven't done yet. But yeah, I enjoyed the God mode, I have to say, and I then discovered that you can go into drone mode and destroy said base in Scum. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how much fun I had doing that. It was stupid fun. And moving briefly on to vehicles in Scum. Not so many vehicles available at the moment. I don't know if there was a problem with the vehicles, so they've reduced the amount, but I really enjoy the vehicles in Scum. Now, I've never had to build my own vehicle by gathering components in Scum. I have had to do that in DayZ. I imagine it's very similar. It's just a bit of a ball ache. But I really just enjoyed the dynamic and how they drive, and I find that the DayZ vehicles can be a little more glitchy. I also don't think there's a motorbike option in DayZ at this point. And because of the way DayZ runs, like the way their servers run and their in-game mechanic runs, the game basically sort of spawns in as you arrive. And I know that's a very similar thing for a lot of games, but it just causes glitches the faster you go in the vehicles, and they are infamous for glitching in DayZ. I don't actually have any footage of me in a vehicle in DayZ, even from my previous playthroughs on this channel. I never quite got to the vehicle stage on those servers. I have driven around on my Xbox console in vehicles on the DayZ servers, and they're okay. The vehicles are okay. Obviously, it's a quicker way of getting around the map, but I do definitely prefer the vehicles and the dynamic of the vehicles in Scum. The next thing I want to talk about is ambience. As you can see, this is Scum, and we were down in the abandoned bunker, and oh man, it is so spooky and creepy and ambience-y down there. And it's just all the little sound effects that they've added into Scum, and it's the same with DayZ. DayZ has got its own kind of sound effects going on, but they are very pleasant. I love them. I'm just going to sprint up here now. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm like, as I turn, I can hear my feet on like the floor as I turn in my headset. It's amazing. Those were rocks as well.
Try not to get injured too much.
Ah, lovely bit of ASMR there. The next thing I want to talk about is your health. On DayZ, it's very simple. So, you know, eating, drinking, getting wet, getting ill, getting sick, getting injured, as you can see. It's all in that bottom right hand side of the screen. That's it. There's not much else. There's not much detail to it. The one over the bloody slash just means how many cuts you've got, how many times you have to bandage yourself. The yellow bottle or food symbol means you're hungry. You're going to get hungry soon and you need to eat or drink. So nice and simple for DayZ, but as you can see with Scum, it is a whole other side quest. Your whole metabolism is a thing, and they have gone into great detail to the point of vitamins, whether you have vitamin deficiencies. They tell you how much muscle you have, how much fat you have. This all impacts on how you learn things within the game and how you become intelligent. And obviously you have a resting heart rate, you have blood pressure, you have lung capacity, you have strength. It goes on and on and on. And as you can see as I'm hovering over it and pressing control, they give more details. Like, there's so much detail. And also in this game, you need to go potty, you know, you need to go wee-wees and the rest of it. Otherwise bad things will happen. In DayZ, I think the most you can do is be sick, and there are emojis or emotes in both games. And yeah, I like the Scum side of it. It feels sometimes like a chore. It's like they want it to be realistic, and it is. You also have the health tab up there that you can see, and that will tell you any injuries you've got or any sickness or anything like that. That's a whole other tab. And so, my darlings, what do we decide? Do we prefer DayZ or Scum? What is your personal preference? Have you played them both or just one? Is there any reason why you don't want to play the other one that you haven't played, etc, etc? I'd love to know in the comments. And please remember, this is like an open forum. People's opinions are their opinions and they are entitled to them about the games. And, you know, whether we agree on stuff or not is by the by. It's just interesting, isn't it? I'm always interested in other gamers and their perspectives and opinions and feelings and thoughts, and sometimes there's stuff that I've missed and not really realised about a game, and someone will enlighten me, and I like all that stuff. So yeah, I'm drawn to DayZ because that's where my shriveled up heart resides, only because it's the first kind of survival game I got into, and I know this map specifically very well now-ish, kind of, and I just feel like if I was dumped in the middle of a Scum public server, I probably wouldn't fare as well. So that's the only reason. But you know, quality of gameplay, I mean, Scum is superior, it has to be said. Like, as you can see from the graphics that we've seen in the previous bits of the video, you know, the Scum graphics are beautiful, they're crisp, they're clear. DayZ I mean, it's pretty clear and it's pretty nice to play. There's nothing wrong with it, is there? It's just they're two different games, but two very similar games. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, and I have said a lot in this episode, so I shall play us out with some of what happened on this DayZ run through. I love DayZ. If you'd like to see some DayZ content, hit me up in the comments. If you want to partake in DayZ with me, we could hit each other up on a server. I would love that. Based on what happened at the end of this one, you'll see why. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch up with you in a moment. Enjoy. I feel like I might be in danger here. Just got a feeling. It's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's fine. Ooh, I just remembered. Now, there is a water fountain up here. Shit, there's a person. Might be two people there. Oh, fuck. Shit. That wasn't very nice of them, was it? So, that makes me jump. It's so loud in your headset every time. That scared the living bejesus out of me. And it's always the gunfire out of nowhere that just... Don't get that on Scum servers. Anyway, I'm laughing, but I really don't enjoy PvP pee because of that feeling of like, well, there's nothing I can do if you're just going to shoot me, and there's two of you. Yeah, that's right, they shot me good. Never happened on Scum. Anyways, thank you for joining. Speak to you soon. Hope to see you in the next one. You take care now, and goodbye.